Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another weekend of the Sevens. This one, Hong Kong, in a new stadium. And already there has been some terrific action. This first matchup that we are covering, Fiji versus USA. Two sides that finished in pretty dissimilar positions of the last competition. Is dissimilar even a word? I don't really know. But Fiji finishing fourth. They were defeated by Spain in the bronze final, whereas for the USA, they actually finished, I believe it was ninth, getting themselves the win in their playoff game. But for this contest, it should be all about that fast-paced action right from the get-go. Fiji, they love scoring tries. They've got one of the best try-scoring rates of any side, and with a competition so close, it means that every point is absolutely crucial. Currently see them right up the top. Argentina, Spain, all still in there too. South Africa starting to make a little bit more of a dash towards that top two as well. But the lineups, I don't believe they have announced on the World Rugby Sevens website. So we could kind of make them up a little bit. One man that is missing from the Fijian lineup will be Tareo Talamani. Also, they haven't got Filippo Bukayaro, no. Also, who else haven't they got? Kiminelli Rasaku. He is also missing from their side. But they have got the return of Manueli Moa, and Georgie Nasova also has been extremely strong. Just like the women's side, they are starting to come back in their game up against the Irish, which they are sitting 17 points to 17. It is the first of multiple games that we will be covering on the channel today. We have also got the Super Rugby winners, the Blitzbox playing, says LFG. Their first game will be up against Uruguay. That has taken place at around 10:50 p.m. or that will be 11:50 a.m. for you guys in South Africa. The first Blitzbox game that we will be covering, it is going to be the matchup up against Australia, and that is at 1:37 a.m. New Zealand time, so that will be 2:37 for you guys in South Africa. Morning, Hamish. Have an awesome Friday. Says Anthony, you too. I go underdog USA, says Spider-Mick, and yeah, a lot of missing players. That's the thing, like even with all these guys missing from their lineup, Fiji still have the fundamentals to be able to do extremely well, whether that is with Josefa Talatholo. You know, you've got plenty of power. Seville Mothin in there, Jeremiah Matana, and then also just that pace, someone like a Nadal Valo. But this USA side, they have a fair amount of pace themselves, whether that is Lucas the Camp, couple of their big, dangerous ball runners, and Bullabos says, "See, welcome in, mate." So while we are just waiting for this match between Fijiana and Ireland to finish, I will mention we have got two games of Super Rugby that we will be doing as well today. First of which being Waratahs versus Hurricanes. Next game will be Brumbies versus Highlanders to follow that one. And then we have also got the Fiji versus Ireland men's match taking place in between those two live streams, and then later on South Africa versus Australia. So we've got about 5.5 hours worth of streaming just to start up the weekend. And that won't be including, of course, what has come very soon. But Peter Martin will be the referee in charge of this one, who's winning with the Fijiana. At the moment, Fiji have got themselves a 2-point lead with only 10 seconds remaining. So very close to getting the victory. It is definitely going to be a big one if they're able to beat the Irish women's side. But Ireland have got possession 5 metres out from their line. Hi, Hamish. I think Fiji will win this one very early here in South Africa. I think I'm going to go back to sleep. Says Bruce. And Billa from Fiji says, Abhishek, welcome in, mate. Now, the scrum feed for the Irish. And of course, the next match that is taking place will be the men's Fiji side up against the US of A. Now, this is a tough group. So neither side will want to drop this first contest because, you know, we're in one of those leagues and one of those competitions at the moment that every single point is absolutely crucial. There's a knock-on from the Irish, which does mean Fijiana will win their game up against the Irish, and they score a try as well at the end, just for good measure. So they are well and truly hyped up, and maybe their men's side will be able to follow suit too. But Vutu, the woman who did get that last-minute try for Fijiana. Should also mention in this group, Argentina will be in action soon up against the men's Irish side. So if that's not a fair indication of how strong this group is, I mean, I don't know what would be, but Los Pumas and Fiji right up there at the moment in terms of possibilities of winning the entire Sevens circuit. Singapore next week also going to be taking place. So we have got the back-to-back legs of the Sevens, something that sadly we don't get too much of throughout the season. A lot of dressed up Fijians in the crowd by the looks of it, well and truly supporting their side. Well done, Hamish, for your coverage and enthusiasm. Greetings today from Chiang Mai, says Mark Casey. Now, you have to let me Google that to work out where exactly it is. I feel like it's in Thailand. I was going to guess either there or honestly Cambodia, but then I wasn't sure whether or not Cambodia was a massive hub for rugby. But yeah, hopefully the weather is nice where you are currently, and the weather does look pretty nice at the stadium at the moment because they are indoors. So that is a massive bonus. But we will be ready to go now for this matchup. Fiji sitting third in the overall standings at the moment. Tosaviti says Abhishek. They have just said about the fact that because the roof is closed, it does mean that we won't have to deal with that same late rain and late moisture that we've seen for a couple of the other leagues. Will be all-out action right throughout the contest. Jeremiah Matana leading the Fijian side out onto the field. Their starting lineup: Josefa Talatholo, Jeremiah Matana, Seville Mothenothangi, Felipe Satoranga, Ioani Tiba, Georgie Nasova, and George Balsi makes up the starting seven for the USA. I mentioned about that speed of Lucas LeCamp. He is not the only speeds in that starting lineup. They have got David Still, Aaron Cummings, Wendling, Steve Thomasin, Talapusi, and also Tapuola, the last man in the USA starting side. Both teams want to get off to a great start. Sadly, only one of them can. And Peter Martin, the Irish referee, for his 15th match, will be in charge of this contest. But we are just about ready to go, ladies and gents. We've already been going 7 minutes, so they are already running quite far behind compared to the scheduled start times. And Fiji's strong side, says Abhishek, extremely strong and can never be underestimated on the Sevens circuit. Nicely kicked off, and that's going to be dropped by David Still. Fiji managing to keep this ball alive. Ioani Tiba going across to that right-hand side. I mean, the amount of players that have come out of this Fijian Sevens set up to move on to have great careers in Union. All you got to do is look at someone like perfect example is Ponipati Loganamasi doing well for the Fijian draw. That's a drop ball from Lucas. The Campy was wide open, but just slips out of the fingers. I mentioned about how they wouldn't have to deal with too much of the slipperiness, but it's like there might still be a little bit of it. But George Balsi, the man with the first initial knock on, then Tupuola got it on the outside to LeCamp, and it just slipped out of the fingertips. We get our first scrum of the day. I just mentioned there about how humid it is at the ground. So that won't help with the handling side of things. Do, of course, let me know your score predictions, ladies and gentlemen, for who you think will win this game. What's going to be fed in for Felipe Satoranga. They're talking about Fiji's impressive record in Hong Kong, but of course, different stadium perhaps will affect it. George Balsi has tackled well. And going back across to the right-hand side here, Fiji only about 10 metres out from their goal line. Satoranga running it sideways, puts a ball on the inside to Josefa Talatholo. Fiji go down them. Now it's not live in any of the Fiji channels. Says Margie, it is supposed to be on Sky Pacific, I believe. And something, is it called My TV? Maybe, I think, is the other place that they said that you should be able to watch these contests. Now going across to the right-hand side. Fiji still deep inside of their own 22. Josefa Talatholo gets his offload away to Seville Mothenothangi. Thought about the inside ball. Does now go to Felipe Satoranga. Back on the outside to Mothenothangi, who goes back across to Satoranga. And that is brilliant work. Two players linking up perfectly. My TV not working, says Evil Beast. And 26 to the USA 14 is the prediction from Abhishek. And the Kiwi lads, says Spider Meek there. That's going to make the score now 7-0 for the Fijians after a successful conversion. But Seville Mothenothangi and Satoranga, they were just running rampage down the wing, completely confusing the USA's defence. And then a brilliant cellular dummy from Satoranga at the end. It's My TV says Resi. And also we have got the Ohio on Hamish says, Robert, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing extremely well. The Fijians starting this match pretty decently. They will, of course, be looking to double their score now. Going up for this one, nicely taken by David Still, who straight away pumps his legs, moves up to the halfway line. We have got there, but we currently having blackouts, so yeah, bad luck for us, says Estorezi. Now going on the outside to Lucas LeCamp. He's holding the ball in one hand. Little bit risky to do in these humid conditions. Definitely when you've already dropped it once, but the try is scored. And the USA will now get back into this contest here in Fiji. Power off after heavy rain, so my TV is not working, says Abhishek. So is my TV only through like your TV, or can it be like on demand or like on an app or something, similar to how you're watching YouTube? I'd assume it's just through the TV. We have there, hey Spotter, says Robert, and that one is going to go over. Now making the score 7-all between these two teams. This group is going to be extremely competitive. So every single point that you can score could be, honestly, the difference between a win and a loss. Nicely taken by Seville Mothinothangi. Gets his offload to Jeremiah Matana. Thought about offloading. Hangs on to a Georgie Nasova. Has to play halfback. Mothinothangi again going away to the left-hand side. He's had quite the impact in the early stages of this match. George Baosi receives the inside ball. Lucas LeCamp. He's going to try and beat him in a foot race, which normally LeCamp is able to do. Forces the error from the Fijians, but they have still got the ball sitting 40 metres out from their own line. Jeremiah Matana goes through. That was really poor defence from the USA. Tupuola and Aaron Cummings on the completely wrong page there, and they just pretty much watch Matana go through the gap. USA must be nervous, and also go Fiji go. And is this the only game this evening, Hemi? Says Spider-Meek. It is not. So we have got the 2 games of Super Rugby we're covering. In between Super Rugby matches, we're doing Fiji versus Ireland, and then later on in the evening, doing South Africa versus Australia. So we've got about 5.5 hours of commentary just today before we even get into the weekend worth of rugby. A great step. And Tupuola just had no chance of being able to catch him. And the Fijians get themselves their second. Scoreboard's a little bit behind, but there we go now. It is caught up 14 points to 7 with only 80 seconds remaining in this first half. Kicked off high again. Nicely taken by Steve Thomasin. Tupuola plays halfback. Across to this right-hand side. The USA defensively, like I said, does seem like they're struggling, but their attack still looking as dangerous as ever. We have their Fiji TV channel is in Walesi app, but I just checked my TV. Some ads pop up again and again. Says Abhishek. Now passed on the outside to Lucas LeCamp. Almost went through. Leaves the ball. Thomasin flicks it inwards. And USA still have one last chance before the end of the half. About 40 seconds remaining. Looking like they're going for a little chip in behind. It's going to be a foot race, and it's won by David Still. Gets the offload away. And the USA will get themselves another right near the end. Oh, a little bit risky there. Wanted to make sure it's a nice, easy conversion. So Lucas LeCamp in the end does get credit for the try. But about 10 seconds probably remaining on the clock at the time that this one does go over, which will mean that we still have enough time for one last play in the half. That is, of course, unless they decide to try and stall it, which I believe they have, the US, so they have said we're happy enough being 14-14 going into halftime. But it's going to lead to an exciting second half now. It's very hard to split these two sides. Defensively, I do think Fiji are doing better, but attacking-wise, the USA, they've had 2 decent chances and they've scored. And also that half chance of Lucas LeCamp did go wrong. So I think we're going to be a 1-try game. Whoever scores that last try of the contest, more than likely will win. Come on, Fiji, what's wrong with you? See, Spider-Man. But like I said, I don't feel like Fiji defensively have done much wrong. It's just more so the fact that they've made a tackle and then the USA have offloaded it. And then, I mean, we saw Lucas the Camp with his try just using his pace pretty much. And then let's go USA bringing the competition to the Fiji boys. And yeah, I think that that's one of the beauties of the Sevens at the moment is every single side can beat everyone. You know, like Spain, sitting where they are on the table. No one predicted that. In fact, no one even predicted Spain to be about top 8 for the season. Yet they've been beating New Zealand. They beat Fiji in the bronze final just recently. And a well-matched half, says Abhishek. Yeah, overall, like, honestly, I don't think, like, there was, yes, a little bit of a struggle defensively from the US, but both sides probably relatively happy with how they've gone here. They haven't thrown too much away. We only saw those handling errors very early on in the match, and then from there it's kind of become a lot more structured. But now we are just waiting for this second half to get underway. 10 minutes away from the Argentina versus Ireland game. Now, we won't be covering that one on the channel, but the next match that we do end up covering will be happening in an hour, and that is going to be the Super Rugby Pacific fixture, and that has taken place between the Waratahs and the Hurricanes. Now, Fiji, they have got themselves the possession from inside of their 22. Here comes a big run from Georgie Nasova. He goes around the outside right. That looked almost too easy for the big man. He does score the try. Highland can't see the game. Going to be a Carver Field riot. MITV HQ soon, says Dave. Yeah, it is a massive shame that the coverage just at this time isn't kicking in. Hopefully, I mean, the next game for Fiji is in around 3.5 hours' time. So hopefully by then, when they are playing the Irish, it will be fixed. Although if it's heavy rain, it might be a bit of a longer wait to be able to get it back. So we will be here for the next game if you guys want some sort of radio type of commentary. But yeah, hopefully the coverage does come back extremely soon so that you don't have to wait too long. Go the USA, says LFG. That is going to be Georgie Nasova's 8th try of Sevens tournaments. Or sorry, he's done 8 tournaments and scored 23 times. So it's quite a clinical rate for Georgie Nasova. Now Felipe Satoranga, he is going to be ready to kick this one off. We're just waiting for the referee. Right, time is back on. We are now ready to go. Fiji have got themselves that 7-point lead. Felipe Satoranga. He's already had an impact throughout the early stages of this match, scoring himself the try. Sevan Mothinothangi also heavily involved throughout the early stages of the match. Fiji so far in the season, they don't try to turn the ball over. They sit back a lot. Honestly, I don't think that's necessarily completely by choice. I think that they were penalised drastically about 2 or 3 tournaments ago, and every time they went for it, they got pinged, and the referees would penalise them. So I think that they've just recently decided that they don't want to go too aggressive in those breakdowns, because or else then they can find themselves with penalties. This is like Jeremiah Matana is still down with some sort of ankle injury here. Does not look too good. They have just said there that Fiji are the most successful team in Hong Kong, but haven't won a cup title since 2019. Jeremiah Matana, he has rolled off the field, so now they are able to play on. And this doesn't look too good for him, definitely because he was starting this match very well. Bring back Sarivi. I'm sure he's still firing. Says Spider-Mech. And USA says Pura Vida in the chat too. But 5 minutes left on the clock. Still some pretty handy players for both sides to come off the bench, although one that will be missing, like I said earlier on, Tario Vailawa. Not playing in this competition. Manueli Mai-Samoa still to make his way on, though. A man who did make his way back in. There's going to be a knock-on advantage against the USA. So now Fiji will be able to use their backline going off to this right-hand side. Ioane Temba can't quite get through the tackle attempt of Talapusi. Now, 2 men both lifting up the Fijian players' legs. Ioane Temba once again has to play half, going off to the left-hand side. Felipe Saturanga almost snuck through again. And the turnover is clean for the USA. Steve Thomasin. Side are still down by 7 points at the moment. Can you turn your screen around so we can see, bro? Sadly, if I was to do that, I would get taken straight off YouTube, and I also wouldn't be able to see the game. But now going off to the right-hand side. USA just hanging around with this ball, 22 metres out from the line. Hospital pass, picked up by Fiji, and they will get over for another try. And Filippo Bucayaro, nowhere to be seen either, unfortunately. And bro, Fiji just saw my text, and my prediction was Fiji 26, USA 14, says Abhishek. So yeah, you might not be a mile off here. Definitely a Fiji are able to get themselves, well, they have to miss this one, in fact, for yours to be correct. Yeah, brilliant pickup from the Fijians. And I believe it was Basiala. Did manage to score it. That one's going to be away to the right-hand side. So the score will remain at 26 points to 14. Or Basialo, I should say. But now they have got themselves a handy lead of 12 points, which should almost be enough. Nicely taken by Steve Thomasin. Now off to the right. Going straight through. Defensive effort here from Fiji. Be able to catch up and shut him down. Cross to the right. They've still got plenty of pace on those outside channels. Brazil steps back inwards. Nadovalo makes the tackle on him. Tries to get the turnover and the breakdown. And the advantage has gone against Fiji for no clear release. Lucas Lecamp. Driven backwards. And they will go back for an offside now. Oh, Steve Thomasini having a little bit of a fumble of the ball. Within 3 metres now. Another advantage in favour of the USA. Looking to go round the side. Oh, he's headbutted the ground. And he hasn't scored the try. How much more time till the game is over? Still another 2.5 minutes or so remaining. And there is now going to be a TMO involved in this contest. Right, what is this going to be checking for? I think it's for a high shot, is it? No. Okay, it's just checking to see whether or not he's in touch, which he was. His head scored the try, but the ball did not. Are we over there? Fiji 31-14 for the win, says Mohammed. Also, you're giving them one more try in this contest. My prediction is just hanging on, says Abhishek. Now the scrum has been called. I believe they were already under penalty advantage again, the USA, so you mentioned about it just before that Fiji haven't gotten too many steals in the breakdowns. That's one of the main reasons. Every time they try and commit, they just get penalised. Whether that's for no clear release or a hand on the ground. Some cases have been extremely debatable. But now, Steve Thomasin almost knocked that ball on in the breakdown. Tapuola, 2-man tackle on him. Now still going to be 5 metres out from the line. Fijians having to defend with plenty here early. Lucas Lecamp trying to go around the side. He will be 25 metres out. Gets another offload away. Getting forced backwards here, the US. Sitting about 35 metres out. Oh, big shot on him by Ioane Temba, whatever the score. My final predictions bang on. Says Spider-Mech, and now passed on the outside. How many minutes left? Currently 90 seconds. So 1 minute 30 remaining on the clock. Getting close to the touchline, but manages to get the knee down for the US. Steve Thomasin goes back across. If USA, oh, that was close to a 4 pass. They've said it's gone backwards. Now Brazil looking for a steal again there in the breakdown, but again the penalty goes against Fiji. Brazil stepping 5 metres out from the try line. Ball bounces out the side, picked up by Lucas Lecamp. Still going to be held up. 1 metre out, trying to go around the side like you'd see the forwards in rugby union doing. So on the scene, still 45 seconds left. The USA can still win this game, but they'll have to do something extremely soon. Oh, ball knocked out of their hands. Kicked forward by Fiji too. Oh, and kicked back. That's a little bit strategic. It's almost worked. Right, it's turned into a game of football here. There are about 4 players who kicked it in a row, including looking to pass to their teammates, going through now and over. And the USA score with 20 seconds remaining, which now means Jack Wendling has given his side half a chance of being able to win this. And how did Fiji beat Ireland? if they are beating the USA, says Pura. Are you talking about the game that happened just before? Because that was the women's game that did take place just moments ago for Fijiana. So I assume that that is possibly the confusion. Right, there is still time remaining. That kick has gone over. So that now means 5 points. If the USA score, then they have a brilliant chance of being able to win. And yeah, how can Fiji beat Ireland in USA minutes apart? 2 different genders playing. So the Fijiana women's side beat Ireland, and the men's side are going to be playing Ireland in about 2.5 hours. That one's going to be kicked in a touch by Fiji. They will not take any risks, but they do get themselves the win. Can you beat Spain? I don't know what happens. Yeah, that was honestly a big upset, but at the same time, understandable, because don't get me wrong, Spain have had a golden run of some of the massive wins that they've had recently, but they are still a side that can be beaten, and can you prove that? So you'll be interested to see whether or not they make it to the quarters now that they've had that loss, definitely with the other sides that are in their group. Will you bring Fiji's next live game? We will indeed. It's going to be happening up against Argentina, and that will be during the break in Super Rugby. So what will be happening is I'll end up doing the Waratahs versus Hurricanes game. Then from there, we jump over, we do the sevens in between, then we go straight into Brumbies Highlanders. Fiji men and women both scored 26 points. Says Novmum. What's your opinion about Fiji's performance? Do you think Fiji can make it in the finals? I did predict that they should be able to make it to at least the semis, but I've been wrong many times. 26-19 was my prediction. Didn't put it in the comments though, says Bruce. You also were going to be asleep, Bruce, so maybe it was one of those predictions you made while you were asleep. Maybe you saw it in a dream. Could have been bang on. Fiji just likes to put their guard down, allowing other teams to score, says Etheresi. Yeah, they concede a lot of tries at time, the Fijians, but honestly, I still think that they won't be completely disappointed with that first contest. I mean, a win is a win, but there was half a chance near the end for the USA to cause that upset. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. We will be back live in about 45 minutes' time. That will be for the Super Rugby Pacific fixture between the Waratahs and the Hurricanes. I do thank you all very much for being here, and I will see you all for the next one.